Welcome to Making HERstory. This isn't polished success stories. This is the fire, the chaos, the gut punch truth of women who refuse to play small. The real, feral stories. The messy, bold, audacious stories that flip the table and set shit on fire. This is where we roar. It's Ashley Crabb. Buckle up, babe. We're making HERstory.
Hello, my badass business babes. Welcome back to another episode of Making HERstory, the only podcast where we remind the world that we were not here to play small. We were here to make our mark, to make noise, and to make HERstory. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Ashley Crabb. I am the only story-driven experience curator who helps feral females transform their personal stories into unforgettable brands, events, and spaces that build belonging, trust, and visibility. I am so glad you're here for this week's episode, and I'm really excited to dive in to the myth of perfect branding. And so as businesswomen, we know how important it is to have a brand. We know how important it is to have branding. But let me be honest with you, you can have the coolest logo in the world. You can have your dream palette, this super slick, sassy website, fancy fonts, whatever you want. But if no one feels connected to you, you don't really have a brand. You don't really have branding. You have packaging. You have a pretty bow that you can put on your presence, right? We've been sold this lie that polish, perfection equals credibility. It equals connection. That in order to be taken seriously as women in the business world, as women entrepreneurs, we have to look, think, speak, act like everybody else. We will go round and round and round with ourselves trying to tweak this packaging, tweak colors, tweak logos, tweak fonts, buy another course, rewrite our bios, until honestly we look and sound like the watered down versions of ourselves. Like women, we don't even freaking know. The truth is, your brand was never supposed to be a cage. It wasn't supposed to be a box that you put yourself in. Your brand, your branding, it's your story. It's supposed to be your story. But somewhere along the way, we all forgot that. And we all started believing that our story wasn't enough, that our story wasn't worthy, that our story didn't have value in it, that women and other people would hear our stories and they wouldn't like them, or they wouldn't connect with them, or they would think they're stupid. So we stopped showing up like that. We stopped showing up in the truth and in our stories. And when I say your story is your brand, bear with me here. I'm not offending anyone, but your story isn't your trauma dump. Your story isn't a highlight reel. Your story isn't this super curated experience, right? Your story isn't something that you are curating to fit the narrative of what you think people want to hear, of what you think people want to see. Your story is the heartbeat of what you do. It is the why behind your work. It is the moments of struggle. It is the moments of overcoming. It is the moments of pivot. It is the moments that shaped you. Your story is proof that you are human, that in a world where we rely on the internet more and more, where we rely on AI more and more and more, your story is proof that you are human. You are alive. You are flawed. You are resilient. You are freaking real. You are freaking real in a world of bots, right? I have seen and watched women build entire businesses, entire empires, entire movements on belonging alone. before they had a logo, before they had a color scheme, before they had chosen fonts or even a freaking website, because their people weren't coming to them for this polished version of themselves. Their people were coming to them for truth, for honesty, for a story that said to them, me too. Your story allowed them to say, me too. I thought I was the only one. Holy shit, she gets me, she understands me, she's been through this, and she has transformed and come out the other side. That's what branding is. Branding is belonging. Branding is storytelling. Branding is telling your story in such a way that women feel they already belong to you, with you, part of you. When you can fill your brand with so much truth in your story, you've done it. You've created that belonging that branding is supposed to create. And like, let's take this another step further, right? Because think about Instagram, TikTok, your social media platforms, your website. Some of the most magnetic women I know don't even stress about that. Yes, we want to have a strategy. Yes, we want to have a plan. Yes, that keeps us sane and relevant and consistent and all of those things. But they weren't focused on the cohesiveness of the aesthetics, right? They weren't so focused on how they were making themselves look. They were focused on the cohesiveness of the energy. They were focused on showing up messy, showing up real, showing up in the moments that weren't perfect, were probably hard to admit, that we don't really necessarily believe we should shine a light on. But somehow, when we can be cohesive in this messy story that is life, everybody around us feels safe enough to do the same. People around us feel safe enough to say, you know what? I don't have all the answers. You know what? I don't have the perfect plan. You know what? I've had to pivot again and again and again. But that's what builds these communities. That's what builds our communities. That's what converts people who are just following along into people who believe in you, who want to stand beside you, who want to be part of your story and share it with others. Like, you're not just making some sort of marketing plan. You are creating your mirror. You are creating the mirror that when you hold it up, the reflection you see, the reflection you are showing the world is fully you, is 110% you. Branding is important. Yes. But branding without this deeper belonging is freaking hollow. It is hollow. It's the difference between women just seeing you and women feeling you, feeling the message that you are telling, feeling the transformation, not just that you're offering, but that you're going through as well. And what is so wild about that is that the second you stop trying to prove your worth through perfectionism, your people will finally see you. When you stop focusing so much on outward strategies, on the information that is being thrown at you, and you just start focusing on you, on your story, that is the vision that you are creating. And we know as women, as friends, as mothers, as partners, that we can build anything through a sense of belonging. And I have seen businesses and brands built through belonging. And that's what it really comes down to. The women who thought that they needed to completely rebrand their business, the women who wanted to set fire to their business, who wanted to burn it all down to the ground. What those women really needed to stop doing and stopped doing was editing the fire out of their story. When we build businesses through belonging, we start sharing the actual behind the scenes chaos. If you're a mom, your kids, your coffee stains, your creative meltdowns. If you're not a mom, you're still showing those hard behind the scenes moments. Maybe you're a super prominent member in your community and you are up against voices who don't believe in you, who don't agree with you, who don't stand behind you. And you're showing that messy chaos behind the scenes. And suddenly, you are getting flooded with messages of, wow, I feel so seen. Wow, thank you for sharing this story. Wow, thank you for sharing your gift with the world. Wow, thank you for being a voice for us, for others. When women can stop following this formula, because where did the formula even come from? Do we even know? And you can start following your gut and build a business that feels like you, that's what's going to last. That is what's going to last. When you build your business on truth and trust, you are building a business meant to last. So here is the reminder for today. You are not branding. You are the brand. And your brand is your story. It is the bridge that creates belonging. It's the bridge that creates trust and loyalty and a legacy. You need to be at the center and presence of your story, because your truth in that story is the magnet. You can't outsource your authenticity. You can't outsource your story. You can't find somebody to say, oh yes, I can create this perfect story for you that is going to be authentically you. You can't do that. No one can replicate your story. No one can live out your story like you. You have to live it. You have to live it, you have to believe in it, and you have to breathe it with everything you do. Be proud of your story. See the worthiness of your story. See the value in your story. You have to trust that you are enough, that everything you've been through is enough, that what you are sharing is enough. You always have been. Always, always, always. You have just been made to second guess and doubt yourself. Your brand, your business, your story, it doesn't need to be perfect. No part of it needs to fit a checkbox and be absolutely perfect. It needs to be personal. It needs to be you. People need to be able to feel the smile in your story. They need to be able to feel the gut punch in your story. They need to be able to feel the laughter and the tears. They need to be able to see you. Move with your story. Move in business with your story. Stop waiting to be freaking perfect. Be present. Be intentional. Be aligned with yourself and what you are doing, why you are doing it, and who you want to do it for. Because when women show up in their stories, in their truth, they create belonging and a movement that no algorithm, no strategy plan is ever going to be able to create or erase. You will become unerasable. So branding is important, but your story, that's the heartbeat, babe. That's the power. That is the reason why people want to be part of your legacy and share it with others. That's the reason why women will follow you, show up, and stay. And I want you to be so proud and dialed into your story that you don't ever second guess it. You don't doubt it. And other women will see that confidence and that strength, and they will feed off of it. You will light that match to their fire. So if you are ready to start telling your story, if you are ready to stop hiding behind your story, if you are ready to freaking roar, there's two options that we have here. You can either download my Tell Your Story Starter Kit, and it is going to be the spark that helps turn your truth into connection. And then after you do that, if you want to go one step deeper, I would really, really love to schedule a 30-minute clarity call with you. Let's burn the freaking blueprint. Let's build belonging. Let's make sure that your brand finally feels like you. Because in this space, we don't just build brands. We build movements. We build belonging. We make frickin' herstory. That's it for this week's episode of Making HERstory. And as always, I am so glad to have you here. It is my hope that when you listen to this podcast, one, you feel the feral energy that is inside you, and that you feel seen and heard, understood and appreciated. Keep telling your stories and keep showing up with fire and audacity, and I will see you next week.